SuperTalkStudio.com. And you'll see I'm not alone today. I am joined by TJ Mayfield. He's the executive director of the Mississippi Kidney Foundation. And we are asking you the question, how healthy are your kidneys? Do you know? And if you know, we're going to take care of those because it is a set of organs, TJ, that you and I were talking about that most don't think about until there's some kind of chronic disease or failure happening. We just kind of passively live our life hoping that they're doing their job back behind there or on our backs. So from the Mississippi Kidney Foundation, when someone asks, what do you guys do? How do you lead into that? How do you explain the Kidney Foundation?
Well, more than anything, thank you for having me on today. We just want to educate people about kidneys, first of all. Similar to what you just said, so often people don't talk about kidneys until they fail, until people end up on dialysis and need a transplant. More than anything, we want to educate people on, if you have diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, if you are obese, you are more likely to have kidney disease than anybody else. And especially in a state like Mississippi, when those three things are more prevalent than most states in America. So the prevention of kidney failure is the most important thing. But if your kidneys do fail, we also provide services for you during the process of dialysis.
But we would hope to keep y'all less busy in that department and more busy in the prevention part. And we were talking to TJ, I've always wanted, there to be this thing when you put in the work in making the healthy changes or, you start eating your vegetables and drinking your water and walk, all the things that you should be doing, that you should get some kind of like warning on a random, Monday. Hey, would have had a heart attack today. Hey, would have found out you had kidney disease, but you didn't, because you changed your lifestyle. And I think that's the hardest part with lifestyle behaviors is it's a gamble and you don't know, because there are some that'll say, well, I smoked my pipe and ate my bacon and drank my, for 100 years and I'm fine. Yes. But then there's others who walk even a less tighter rope and find themselves struggling, with the outcomes of chronic disease.
And kidney failure is difficult because it's the 9th leading cause of death in the United States, but it has very little symptoms outside of, fatigue. You can still make urine.
Oh, man, I feel like I have kidney disease then. Every mom listening to Good Things just said, I've got chronic kidney failure.
It's just one of those things where you can still make urine and have kidney disease. A lot of people think if you're not urinating, you have kidney disease. You have to get tested. You have to have a blood and a urine sample to find out if you have kidney disease because similar to hypertension, it's a silent killer. You don't necessarily know it until you go to the doctor and get checked out.
Because there's so many symptoms that could be brushed under.
Correct.
Of just our sort of busy lifestyles and you don't want to think the worst. There's some that do, you start Googling, you head straight in. But the large majority, you explain things away, you push things off, you just try to, go on and then it can be too late. So with kidneys, is it kind of like once it's past a point, are we now dealing with that point and just trying to slow down progression? There's no backtracking through prevention?
There's no backtracking. Once you get to a certain point, you just are where you are. You're trying to slow down the progression of chronic kidney disease. There's 5 stages, and most people don't figure out they have kidney disease until they get to stage 3 or 4. And a lot of times people 5 when they have to immediately get on dialysis at that point. So just like I said, preventing it, because once you get to stage 3 or 4, it's not looking good.
It's not looking good. What are other lifestyle or just genetic factors or that could set you up for being more aware of step 1 or stage 1 or stage 2 if you were to catch it sooner?
Well, if you're to catch it sooner, like I said, there's certain things you can do to prevent it. So change your diet immediately, exercise more, drink more water. For certain people who have genetic inheritance, such as I did when I found out I had kidney failure, that was nothing I could do. Right. But for so many people, like I said, with diabetes and high blood pressure and obesity, there's things you can do. You can lose weight and your A1C can get better overnight. Your blood pressure can get better, and that will lessen the risk of having kidney failure at that point.
Most people don't connect their heart problems with their kidney problems. They think that's a bathroom problem.
Right.
But they are all sort of intertwined, and what's good for the goose is good for the gander when it comes to inside the body. And so when you're doing the things you've heard to take care of your heart or to manage your diabetes or to eat mindfully for brain health, that's also doing all the other major organs good as well. There's, they package them up in different sort of styles of diets to hit specific, chronic conditions, but they do the same. If you look at it, they're all primarily telling you the same thing for the whole body.
Yeah, it's all the same. Taking care of your organs, whether it's a kidney, a heart, a lung, whatever it is, it comes down to the same things: exercising, drinking water, reducing stress. All of those factor into any kind of chronic disease that you have. And for so many people, when you have that stress level high, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not eating a balanced diet, it eventually catches up with you. It may be 10 years, it may be 20 years, it may be 50 years, but eventually it catches up with you.
You mentioned fatigue as being one of the signs. I feel like that's not a good sign, TJ, because, again, I feel like we could all say that, we're all dying of kidney
Well, that's the problem. It's easy to brush under at something else, though.
So if you know you're managing hypertension, or if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, that would be another sort of strike. Are there things you can ask your doctor, or are there tests that you can ask for to make sure, like, your kidneys are functioning okay, or are they doing all right? Are there better questions to be your own advocate for your health?
Absolutely. You should always be an advocate for yourself because you only get one body. What I would tell anybody, when you go to the doctor, get a urine sample. Measure your creatinine, measure everything, your calcium, your protein levels, your potassium, everything. All of that factors back into the kidney because it's in your bloodstream. So blood tests, urine samples, all of that is absolutely needed when you go for a yearly checkup or monthly, whatever you go do. Make sure you get all of those numbers because it can sneak up on you if you don't pay attention to it. And that's what we don't want. Absolutely. But if you do, then the Mississippi Kidney Foundation can be there for you for that as well. Yeah. And so you mentioned you guys can be there for those that maybe have gotten the bad news. Hey, look, I'm stage 4, I'm stage 5, and now we got to do some, hardcore intervention. How does the Kidney Foundation step in and help Mississippians? Well, one thing that we do is a virtual support group. The mental health aspect of accepting the reality that you have to get on dialysis is not a fun thing because it changes everything about your life, your schedule. Most dialysis patients don't work because they can't work. When you talk about doing dialysis, the blood circulating in and out of your body, it wears you down. So you're doing dialysis for 3 days a week for 4 hours. It takes up so much of your time that you don't have time for anything else but to do dialysis, which is keeping you alive. We also offer financial assistance because so many people can't work. They need help with bills, whether it's medical, whether it's everyday utilities such as light, water, and gas. We're there for you in any single way we can be, but more importantly, financially and on the mental health aspect. I read on your website where Mississippi has over 6,000 kidney patients on dialysis, with more being added sort of every day. And so that's kind of a staggering number. Would a majority of those 6,000 also be looking to find a kidney replacement? I mean, I'm sure not everyone is a fit or whatever, but for the most part, is that the pool of looking for kidneys for transplant? Well, actually, we're in the process of updating our website, and I hate to say this, but that number is now closer to 9,000. Yeah, so bummer. We were 47th in kidney failure. Now we're 49th. So the numbers are going in the reverse direction of what we want. But even once you get on dialysis, you still need to live a fairly healthy life to get a kidney. Your blood pressure has to be a certain level. Your blood sugar has to be a certain level in order to get a kidney. So even though we may have closer to 9,000 people, everybody is not eligible to get a kidney. And you have people die every single day waiting to get a kidney, but if they cannot get within those perfect levels, it's not going to happen. And that does take a level of commitment. So then when you do get that opportunity, you have to have been considered a good host for the new kidney, which, I mean, I think if you step back, and it can seem harsh, but if you think about it, if someone's giving you their organ, or if for whatever reason, you want someone that's going to take the best care of it. Right. And I know you met that bill with your own personal story, TJ, and you've got ways that we can help support the Kidney Foundation. So we're going to get to that and more coming time, where we're continuing to ask you, how healthy are your kidneys? Because
because we care. And who's we? That's me and TJ Mayfield. He's the executive director of the Mississippi Kidney Foundation, but he's also a former dialysis patient and kidney transplant recipient. So you don't just, tell them, not do as I do. Wait, how did my dad always say it? Don't do as I do, but do as I tell you to.
Right.
Well, yes, sir, and in a lot of aspects. But you've walked the walk and able to talk the talk, and so you come from a different perspective with it.
Yeah, very personal. I think you explained it perfectly because when I go into a clinic, a patient can't tell me you don't know what I'm going through.
Right.
I absolutely do. I understand. I've been through it. I was 19 when I found out about my kidneys failure.
Young.
I was sophomore in college. I'm thinking everything is fine. I'm still making urine. And the doctor comes in and tells me, you need a new kidney or you're going to die. And again, I'm 19 and my world is rocked at this point. I have to start dialysis at the age of 21. And again, think about everything I could have been doing at 21, hanging out, having fun, partying. But from the ages of 21, 22, 23, 24, every single night for 6 to 8 hours, I'm hooked up to a dialysis machine to save my life. And of course, we talk about dialysis is an artificial kidney keeping you alive. So for me, I couldn't afford to miss my dialysis at night, or I could have died.
Right.
So again, missing out on these social things at that time was hard. The mental health aspect of it caused a lot of mental and emotional strain that
bitterness,
I had.
I would assume.
Yeah.
That's just your human, right, TJ?
Yeah.
And so, but you mentioned yours wasn't necessarily through, decades of lifestyle behaviors that sort of landed you there. It was through genetic components. What exactly, and did you know someone in your family who kind of led you down, or not, who led you, it was their fault. Granddaddy, it was your fault. No, but like maybe had sort of, you could see it in your family line.
It's amazing. No, it's amazing.
You have nobody to blame it on.
I had my aunt, my dad's sister. She had kidney failure, but of course there was other, lifestyle things that happened to her. She had, other illnesses that led to hers. Mine was a genetic disease called Alport syndrome. Nobody in my family has Alport but me. So again, finding out at 19, I have a genetic disease that my dad doesn't have, my granddad doesn't have, my brother doesn't have, and I'm the one that ends up with it. But you came through on the end. So even while you were going through your dialysis at such a young age, because again, I can get it. That's like other individuals who walk through seasons of chronic illness, whether it's cancer diagnosis or loss of some kind. There are those who wallow, and then there's those who, find one step in front of the other and get themselves out. When did you recognize, or from the beginning, with being so young, that you could be a recipient for a transplant and, be freed from that dialysis? I remember talking to my doctors and, he was telling me, you're doing everything right. And he simply said, some of my patients, they don't. He says, you're still trying to eat right. You're still trying to exercise and don't do too much or you'll pass out and hurt yourself and everything because you do have a lot of fluid coming in and out of your body every day. But at that point, I realized I had to live. I couldn't let dialysis end my life. I couldn't let kidney failure stop me at 21, 22 from continuing to live a healthy life. And it was just something I had to put in my mind that I wanted to live and continue to be here. What age, or do you remember when or where you were when you got the call that you had a kidney? Oh, yeah. That's like better than winning the lottery, right? Oh, man, look, are you a Saints fan? I can be. Do I need to be? You probably don't want to be for this. Okay. It was the morning of the New Orleans Saints in the NFC Championship game against the Rams with the horrible pass interference call. I do know how that one ended up. So, yeah. Yeah, so I got the call that morning, and, of course, Tulane Medical Center. They called and said, we may have a match. You're going to be the backup, but we want you to come down. And thinking I'm the backup, I don't think I'm going to get it. So going down and hanging out in the room, and everybody's coming in the room, the x-ray. Nobody's paying attention to me. They're all watching the Saints game on TV. But after the game, they said, Mr. Mayfield, you're going in the morning. We have a kidney for you. That's amazing. How long had you been on the list? It was about 3 years. I had to be briefly taken off the list. Part of my parathyroid had to come out because my phosphorus was so high. But again, I'm doing everything right. They put me right back on the list and got that call.
How does that list work? Because I feel like for many listening who may think about it, I know you can get a donation from a family friend or member, or I've even seen T-shirts at Disney that's like, hey, need a kidney, hit me up, whatever, which is strange, but I mean, it works.
Yeah.
So you can get one if it's find your own match, but if you're on the list, from the moment your doctor clears you, do you just get sort of put at the bottom or top, or is it a lottery system, or is it so complicated you don't really know?
It is a little bit of everything, because I know some people who got one in 6 months, and I know some people it took them 6 years. So again, it has to go into, how well your blood pressure is, your weight, your blood sugar. So you still have to be in pretty good health, but it is a lottery system, blood types, and you really have to just find a match with somebody, and blood type is really the most important thing.
Most important thing. Okay, you got your kidney. You woke up, you had a new kidney. How is life next? I mean, do you automatically not have to go to dialysis anymore? Or is it just, immediate? I mean, I can't imagine.
The first thing I did when I woke up is check to see was that catheter still in me. And once it wasn't, I was like, oh, thank you, God, no more dialysis. So that was the first thing that I did. It was still a long process. I mean, I lost a lot of weight. I got down to about 130 pounds because of pain. I didn't want to eat. I almost died again because my white blood cell count got down to 0.2, and I was hardly able to fight off any kind of infection. So it was still a long process after getting the kidney. I had some rejection, but thankfully, I'm sitting here today.
How long ago was that?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years. A couple of weeks ago, celebrated 4 years.
So you can definitely tell what the work the Mississippi Kidney Foundation does for folks. That's a long journey. That's a long process. Sounds like you had a phenomenal support system. Obviously, you have strength and faith comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
To give you this role, what a perfect role for you to step into as the executive director, and to be able to do that for others. And I know there's a great event coming up that folks can help with. Tell us about that.
Oh man, the $10,000 Uptown Drawdown Gala. It is our biggest fundraiser of the year. We want everybody to come out and support. Your ticket gets you in the door. You enjoy a night with a silent auction, the Blues Boys band. But that ticket also enters you into a drawing for $10,000. So every dollar that you donate, everything that you buy at the silent auction, all of that money goes to the kidney patients in Mississippi. It's not going to go to the National Kidney Foundation where they determine how much we keep. All of that money stays in Mississippi to help the patients that we have here in this state.
Which you said was like there's 9,000 plus on dialysis.
Correct. And
out of that, you've got a pool that are desperately trying to work towards getting securing a kidney. And then there's new people every day.
Absolutely.
That sort of get that sort of call or sort of that news as well. Where is it and when is it?
Yeah, it's Saturday, March 4th at the Country Club of Jackson. Like I said, we're going to have a great band from 7 to 10 p.m. The Uptown Drawdown, we're looking forward to having everybody come out and support. This will be my first one in person. Last year was virtual, so I'm excited to get in person and enjoy this event. With
the auction or the drawdown, do you have to be present to win?
You do not. You do not. So buy a ticket and come out. And even if you don't come out, you still can win $10,000.
I like that. I can stay inside in my jammies.
Yeah.
And so, but still coming out and enjoying a good night sounds like a lot of fun as well. And if you are listening to good things and you've got someone in your family who is walking through the life of kidney disease, no matter what stage they're sort of in, can they reach out for resources or support, or how does that work, TJ?
Feel free to call the office, 601-981-3611. You can talk to me directly. I'm always willing to talk to patients. We had a pediatric holiday party where the kids came in, and I was able to talk to them myself and understanding what they're going through. My email address is tj@kidneyms.org. Feel free to email me. I would love to get you on the virtual support group that we have every month. Call, email, whatever it takes for the Mississippi Kidney Foundation to help patients in Mississippi out.
Well, I think your story is one of inspiration, but also a reminder, too, just to ask yourself, how healthy are your kidneys? Don't take things for granted. Taking care of yourself as you can't always turn back the clock and do it. You need to start doing it, right now. The text message isn't coming. You would have had a heart attack today. I'm working on that, but it's not.
Right.
We haven't gotten there yet with technology. But TJ, I appreciate you. What's a website we can go to learn more information?
Yeah, www.kidneyms.org. And remember the Uptown Drawdown Saturday, March 4th at the Country Club of Jackson at 7 p.m.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.